Hello, my name is Danielle Yonemura. I am a registered nurse. I work for Planned Parenthood of the North Central States. And I also work over at Orchard Place over on the south side of Des Moines, working with children who have developmental and mental behavioral issues. But what I am focusing on for my assessment is my primary job over at Planned Parenthood. I currently primarily work at our West Clinic out in Urbandale, and that is where I chose to do my assessment. I interviewed my coworker Sharon for the assessment and chose to do the staff vitality assessment. So looking more at things such as staff satisfaction, retention, stuff like that. I feel like overall the results were pretty positive. There were a lot of areas that we got to touch on, including things such as like upper management issues, staffing, scheduling, our patient demographics, teamwork, communication, and a lot of those things, we scored fairly well on. So in terms of like best performance, I would say, based on what my coworker said, she has always really gotten along well with the team. We all work very, very well together. Communication is absolutely amazing among staff members. And in terms of providing patients with high quality patient care and providing them with a good experience and going above and beyond for our patients, those are all things that we scored phenomenally in. Now, in terms of opportunities for improvement, she noted some things such as upper management, some pay discrepancies, having more room for growth as a nurse, and staffing and scheduling issues. Staffing and scheduling, those are issues that a lot of places see, especially in healthcare, that there are issues with. And with ours, we recently merged with Minnesota, so the organizations combined. And when that happened, we took over a lot of some of their policies that they already had in place, and began doing things like such as with our schedule, we started doing 3CV schedules, which basically states that, we're seeing 3 patients in an hour, which doesn't sound like a whole lot. But in terms of, whatever that patient's individual need is, will depend on how much time we need with that patient. So, for one patient, it might just be a simple birth control renewal and we can get them in and out real quick. The next patient, might be a young teenage girl who needs options on every single birth control method that there is, help to pick out those options. She wants to know about just sexual education in general. We have to talk about safer sexual practices, educate on different types of STIs, and that can turn into a fairly lengthy visit. So in those instances, those are times where we could really use a little bit better of a staffing schedule, or staffing, not just staffing, but just in general, a patient schedule. But what I was trying to say about staffing is, if we're fully staffed, that typically is not an issue, but it's when we're not fully staffed and we're having to see all of these patients and have a full patient schedule is when it can become a little bit tricky. That being said, that's kind of where upper management issues come into play. So feeling like she's heard within the organization is an issue. Not so much an issue within the clinic itself, because amongst speaking with like the clinic manager, that goes fairly well. And we all feel as though we're able to talk to him and express our concerns with him, but we rely on him now to be able to communicate that message from us to his manager, and his boss to his boss, and so on and so forth. And a lot of times those things aren't always prioritized or taken as seriously, and we don't feel as though our opinions are really heard or taken into consideration when looking at things such as staffing and taking over Minnesota policies instead of them kind of incorporating some of our policies, stuff like that. So as with any organization, things aren't entirely perfect, but, it's one step at a time, and we are, I feel like, making leeway in these areas as well. Actually, one goal that we had mentioned during our assessment was staff satisfaction rates. So, yearly we have like this meeting and everything, and that's where we talk about like how our job is going, what's going well, what's going bad, what can be improved, et cetera, et cetera. And that's when we talk about like our pay and getting our increase and all that fun stuff. So this year for the organization as a whole, they are focusing on staff satisfaction as a new goal and trying to increase that throughout the next year. So at the very least, there is leeway, being made, and I feel as though, it might not happen overnight, but it's something that they are aware of and that they are actively working on now. And my coworker expressed the same. I know this is supposed to be her views, so a lot of it we do share similar beliefs or similar views. Now, in terms of was I able to share the results with management? Yes and no. Yes, because these are all things that we actually talk about with management in the clinic fairly often. No, because I didn't directly talk to him about this specific assignment. But yes, because we have talked about these issues more than once in the past. Now, in terms of management's management, that's kind of where we're needing to really focus some of these concerns on, and in that way we're not really able to share some of these opinions, not so much because it's an issue or fear of retaliation or anything, but more so because it's not been a priority for upper management. So again, hopefully we're making some progress on that. So anyways, the last question is, how's technology used to increase efficiency and safety? So with our electronic health record system, we use that for charting with patients, and, we go through our patients' intake and everything. We put in medications on there. We also use our computers for things like stocking medications, ordering things, doing inventory, all of that. And so in those ways, it makes everything a little bit more efficient. And in terms of safety, there are wonderful features such as, the EHR notifies us when there's duplicate medications being prescribed. In those cases, oftentimes it's like a birth control renewal that's done yearly. We have to stop the old script and start the new script. But it warns us that we need to do that. And then other things such as if the patient has an allergy to something like penicillin, then if we were to try to prescribe them something such as Rocephin or Bacillin or something like that, then an alert might pop up on their chart that says, hey, they have this allergy, and then we need to use that knowledge, and based on, our personal knowledge, we need to gauge that situation and make sure that what we're giving our patient is appropriate despite the orders that may have been given. So communicating that amongst either other staff members or our clinicians, stuff like that. So there's plenty of safety measures, is what I'm trying to say, that are in place in our electronic health record system that makes everything a little bit easier. Sorry, I froze up there for a second. So overall, though, I would say that the staff vitality assessment went really, really well. She had a lot of positive things to say. Again, we expressed how much we love our jobs, how much our patients mean to us, how much fun we have with our patients. It's great because we get to build relationships with people, and we get to joke around and have fun, and doing intakes isn't just like a, point by point thing. We're having conversations with people and really kind of getting engaged with people. And those things are what makes our job enjoyable. And those things, and seeing the difference that we make in our patients' lives every day, and seeing how grateful that they are for the services that we provide, those are all things that definitely make all of this worth it in the end. And just like with every other organization, we understand that there are things that can definitely be improved upon, and no organization is going to be perfect, but in terms of, our overall satisfaction, we love our jobs. There's nothing else that we would rather be doing. And I feel like, these things can be worked on. It's not going to happen overnight, but, baby steps, and we'll get there. So yeah, otherwise, I believe that is it. Sorry for my awkwardness here at the end. But I look forward to watching everybody else's videos and seeing people's comments and speaking to my other fellow classmates, peers, and seeing what you guys say about your assessments. So, anyways, I hope you all have a lovely day, and I look forward to hearing from you all. Bye.